Many WNBA fans are calling out the referee problem.
The referees literally turned their back.
Caitlyn Clark appears to be hunted every game. She deals with physicality that no other player in the league is dealing with. The WNBA not stepping in to protect their cash cow, their only draw, their only star, and this is the end result.
Coaches promised their players that Caitlyn Clark would revolutionize the league. They called her the face of the future, but no one expected that her toughest opponent might be the league itself. In just a few games, Caitlyn Clark has gone from the WNBA's most celebrated star to its most glaring challenge.
It's shocking.
Caitlyn Clark will be sidelined for at least 2 weeks
with a quad injury.
Bullets has emerged. How Caitlyn Clark got hurt.
He fouls her for the 4th time. It's cheating.
Caitlyn Clark is the driving force behind the interest in the Fever and the interest in the WNBA.
Rookie Caitlyn Clark was subject to several intentional fouls.
And it wasn't just resistance from opposing teams. This wasn't your typical rookie adjusting to the pro level. It felt far more deliberate, even strategic. What unfolded seemed less like growing pains and more like a targeted effort with real consequences.
After every single game, WNBA players, fans, coaches are all complaining about the referees, and they have shown that they're not going to change anything because the referees continue to be horrible.
The referees, tasked with upholding fairness, often stood by like background actors in a bad drama as Caitlyn Clark took hits, got shoved to the floor, and played through a storm of missed calls night after night. What started as occasional oversights quickly turned into a troubling pattern. Blatant fouls ignored as Clark hit the court again and again. If you believe she deserves better, drop a Protect CC down in the comments below.
Felines head coach Stephanie White, she was complaining about her team not getting a whistle, not being respected.
Then came the moment no one wanted. Caitlyn Clark sidelined with a quad injury. Fans had already started documenting every missed foul, unchecked body check, and frustrated glance she gave the refs, silently begging for a whistle that never came.
She will be out for 2 weeks minimum following a quad strain.
Caitlyn Clark and Sophie Cunningham going to the officials and trying to, ask for an explanation of what had just occurred. That official completely stonewalled them.
It stopped looking like bad luck and started to feel intentional. Just as the conversation around it began to intensify, new information emerged, exposing just how broken and inconsistent the officiating system truly is.
This is a WNBA problem, and as more and more eyeballs are watching this league, it becomes growingly an issue. The officiating feels you never have a true grasp on what it's going to be.
It turns out many of the league's referees were pulled straight from high school leagues. Yes, seriously. And it gets worse. They're not even fully relying on their own judgment during games. Instead, the league allows GMs, coaches, and other stakeholders to influence officiating behind the scenes, dictating how physical they want the games to be.
The referees are not listening to them. They're not listening to the coaches. They're not listening to the players. They're not listening to the fans. They're listening to their stakeholders. That's why I keep saying nothing is going to change till the mindset and whoever's running all of this, the stakeholders, governance, whoever these people are.
And at the center of this chaos, where influence, ego, and money collide, is Caitlyn Clark. After weeks of growing outrage, the WNBA is finally feeling the pressure. Viral clips are flooding social media, and now even coaches and fellow players are beginning to speak out.
If this injury does anything, it should be a wake-up call to the WNBA, the Players Association, the team owners, that just like that, all this fanfare, all this interest, all this newfound attention on the league can disappear overnight.
If the league doesn't take immediate action, its biggest liability won't just be the officiating. It could be looming lawsuits and growing accusations of referee bias. Which brings us to the big question: just how far is the WNBA willing to go to silence the very player they've been cashing in on since day one?
Caitlyn Clark is being roughed up, but the physical wear and tear on Caitlyn Clark, I'm not surprised that 2 weeks into the season, she's already got an injury.
Caitlyn Clark is not someone who backs down. When she returned to Iowa, she turned women's basketball into must-see TV, drew in millions of viewers, and shattered records along the way. So when she entered the WNBA, expectations were sky high, not just for her on-court brilliance, but for the surge of energy and excitement she was expected to bring to a league desperately in need of a spark.
2024 was a year of unprecedented growth in viewership in the WNBA, a substantial amount of which can be attributed to Caitlyn Clark, who took the basketball world by storm after an all-time college career.
Who had appeared in 185 consecutive games between her career at Iowa and her time with the Indiana Fever. 139 games with the Iowa Hawkeyes. She never missed one.
And for a moment, it was working. Attendance surged and TV ratings hit record highs. But instead of being welcomed with open arms and a red carpet, Clark was met with elbows, hostility, and an undercurrent of resentment from the start.
Caitlyn Clark, somebody who was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity last season, including revenue from merchandise, ticket sales, and television.
Caitlyn Clark out at least 2 weeks waited, but can the WNBA maintain without her? Can the WNBA pack arenas draw ratings?
When Caitlyn Clark stepped onto the professional court, basketball was only part of the battle. There was a personal fight too. Every game felt like running a gauntlet. She faced relentless full-court pressure, off-ball hacks, and physical contact. More suited for a rugby match than basketball, all while the referees looked the other way. Defenders weren't just guarding her. They were treating her like it was UFC fight night. For any other elite player, that kind of contact would have drawn whistles. But Clark got nothing. Time and again, she had to grit her teeth and push through.
The referees just exposed their hand so bad, bro. I mean, they just didn't care no more. They didn't care. The world was watching how bad the cause was. They didn't care at all. They was going to get their issue off against the Fever no matter what. And I'm here to tell you, that's exactly what went down, bro. They have an agenda against Caitlyn Clark.
The league kept following the same tired script. Clark just needed to adapt. But why is the burden always on her to change? Why is Caitlyn Clark the only star told to toughen up, while others receive royal treatment, and then she ends up injured? After grinding through game after game, often logging up to 35 minutes a night for at least 2 weeks straight, Caitlyn was sidelined with a left quad strain.
Said the reason that people are complaining is because they haven't watched the WNBA before, and these are just new fans who don't understand. But there's clearly an issue.
It wasn't just a setback. It was a crushing blow for the Indiana Fever, and a major loss for the WNBA as a whole. For many fans, it didn't come as a surprise. After a season marked by relentless physicality and a league that failed to protect the very player keeping the spotlight alive, Caitlyn's injury felt like the inevitable cost of neglect.
Indiana Fever guard Caitlyn Clark has suffered a left quadricep strain and will be out for a minimum of 2 weeks.